I thought we'd make a video about cold air intakes on a diesel. Because you get all these posts from people, nothing's better than a stock intake outflows, whatever. Look, stock intake is garbage. I don't care what vehicle you're in. People say that crap with the Hellcats, the Camaros, everything. Stock intake's garbage. Stock intake is better than the aftermarket, whatever. Look, stock intake has silencers in it. It has a million different things that disrupt flow. It's ABS plastic, which isn't a huge deal. Plastic actually doesn't hold heat like aluminum does. But the thing is use a crappy filter. The housing is usually a box. I don't know about you, but boxes don't flow very well. The thing is that, sorry, I just ate. Diesels and every engine benefits from cold air. Now, people will say with diesels, like, oh, it's not as big of a deal. You're right, it's not as big as a deal. But the better the air flows, the colder the air is. If it comes in from the same location, it'll be colder if it flows better, because it doesn't have time to sit, be disrupted, be turbulent, suck in heat, things like that. Now, if colder air reaches the turbo, that means the air is denser, meaning the turbo compresses denser air, and more air leaves the turbo, meaning more colder air dense. More air, colder, denser, leaves the turbo. Obviously, it leaves the turbo hot again, and then it goes through the charge pipes and comes out the other side. Intercooler gets cooled back down and whatnot. So, on my EcoDiesel with my CFT intercooler, I am running 7 degrees hotter than ambient air temperature. With the factory charge pipes, I am running almost 20 degrees hotter than ambient air temperature. And that kind of tells you how effective, like, just changing the charge pipes and intercoolers. Like, I am in my Cummins right now, it is 73 degrees outside, and I'm running an intake temperature of 87 degrees. Now, I don't have an upgraded intercooler, I have upgraded charge pipes. My intercooler is very small in my Cummins, which is hurting me. So, the thing is the cold air intake, when built right, like an SMB, will always be beneficial because it just pulls in cold air. The filter typically flows better. The piping doesn't have a bunch of disruptions in it, which also flows better, meaning that there is more available air. The air is less turbulent. The air is colder, which will all be a benefit. Now, on a non-tuned stock engine, the benefit might just be some sound and 0.01% fuel economy, which is still a benefit. Is it worth $300, $400, $500? Probably not. When you start modifying and doing other things, the filter will become more beneficial. And people will say the same stupid shit they say on Cummins. On the Cummins, people are like, well, the air filter is good for 800 horse. So what? Who cares if it's good for 800 horse? Doesn't mean it couldn't be better. And that's what's wrong with most of the industry when it comes to diesel and gas engines, is people think things are good enough. Oh, it's better, but it's super costly, so it's not worth it. Look, you want fuel economy, like really, really, really good fuel economy, stock, buy Prius. These trucks can get up to 30 stock. Not a huge, that's a huge deal. Now, if you could do a couple modifications and get 2, 3, 4 miles better per gallon, you're going to want to do that, especially if you drive a lot. I put 60, 70,000 miles on my EcoDiesel since October. That's a lot of fuel. That's a lot of money saved with a small modification. Even if it's 0.01% fuel economy increase, that's a shitload of money that you would save. So please stop sharing poor information, saying that air intakes don't do anything, they're not worth it, things like that, because that's absolutely not true. They do something. They are beneficial. They just may not be beneficial enough for some people to think that they're worth buying, which, whatever, not a big deal. Let people buy what they want to buy and be happy with it. My Guess what? It's only 700 horse, and I have an aftermarket intake, and the stock filter is good for 800. Guess what? I don't ever want a choking point. And when it comes down to it, the S&B flows better. The S&B is a filter that you can clean, and it utilizes the factory locations. And the box is smoother, so the air flows into the engine better, or flows into the intake better. It's just, at a certain point, it's more of a personal choice to buy one or not. But to say that they're not beneficial is absolutely wrong. Now, in order to fully utilize colder air, let's say a gas engine or a higher flowing intake, it absolutely requires a tune. The thing is, with a diesel engine, you have a turbocharger. Turbochargers